Dr. Hannah Kim moved through the medical bay of the Mercy with quick steps. Red lights flashed overhead. The alarm had been going for 3 minutes now. 3 minutes since the Vrel ships had appeared out of nowhere. "Status report," she called, her voice calm despite the chaos. "We have 27 wounded from the first hit," said June, her assistant. His hand shook as he loaded medical supplies into a bag. "Engine room took heavy damage." Hannah nodded. "Keep packing. We may need to evacuate." She turned to her computer and began typing fast. Years of research data needed to be saved. If the Vrel got their hands on it. The ship rocked violently. Hannah grabbed the edge of the desk to stay upright. Captain Lee's voice came over the speakers. "All personnel, prepare for emergency jump. Repeat, prepare for emergency jump in 2 minutes." Hannah worked faster. The data on Vrel biology was too important to lose. She had spent 5 years studying their weaknesses. 5 years since the aliens had first attacked Earth colonies. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, sending the files to the main Terran fleet. "Dr. Kim," Jun called, "we need to get to the escape pods." "Almost done," she said. The progress bar on her screen moved too slowly. 78%. 79%. Another blast hit the ship, harder this time. The lights went out for a second before the backup power kicked in. 90 seconds to jump, Captain Lee announced. His voice sounded strained. The ship rocked again. Hannah heard screams from the hallway. Then a sound she had never heard before, a hissing noise. Her skin prickled with fear. "Boarding parties," she whispered. "The Vrel never took prisoners unless they wanted test subjects." "June, run. Get to the bridge and make sure this data gets to Fleet Command." Hannah handed him the small drive with the backup files. June hesitated. "But doctor, that's an order." Hannah pushed him toward the door. "I'll be right behind you." As June disappeared down the corridor, Hannah quickly locked her computer. The progress bar showed 100%. Data transmitted. She grabbed a small medical kit and turned to leave. Too late. The doors to the medical bay slid open. 3 tall figures entered. They had gray-green skin that looked like stone. Their 4 eyes glowed yellow in the dim light. Vrel soldiers. Hannah backed away slowly. The aliens moved with strange grace for their size. Each stood over 7 feet tall. They carried weapons that looked like long, thin spears, but Hannah knew they fired energy pulses that could tear through flesh. "Human female," one of them said, its voice like gravel. "Do not resist." Hannah looked around for a weapon, anything to defend herself. There was a surgical laser on the counter behind her. If she could reach it. "The ship will jump soon," she said, trying to buy time. "You should leave while you can." The lead Vrel made a sound like rocks grinding together. Laughter, Hannah realized. "Your ship will not jump anywhere," it said. "Your engines are destroyed." Hannah's hopes sank. Without the jump drive, the Mercy was trapped. She lunged for the laser, but one of the Vrel moved with shocking speed. A clawed hand grabbed her arm, lifting her off the ground. The alien was incredibly strong. Hannah kicked and struggled, but it was like fighting against a statue. "This one has spirit," the Vrel said, holding her up for inspection. "Take her to the transport. Commander Drac will decide if she is worth keeping." As they dragged her from the medical bay, Hannah saw the bodies of her colleagues in the hallway. She fought back tears. The Vrel ship waited, attached to the Mercy like a parasite. Its interior glowed with an eerie blue light. The last thing Hannah saw before they took her aboard was Captain Lee's face, watching from a distance. He nodded once, a silent message. The data had made it out. Not all was lost. Then the doors closed, and Hannah was alone among the aliens, headed for their massive ship, and whatever fate they had planned for her. The Vrel ship was cold. Hannah shivered as the guards pushed her down a long hallway. The walls glowed with a blue light that made her skin look strange. Other humans walked in a line ahead of her. All wore the same scared look. "Move faster," a Vrel guard said, poking her with the end of his weapon. Hannah stumbled but kept walking. She counted the turns they took. Left, right, right, left. If she got a chance to escape, she would need to know the way back. They reached a large room with metal tables. Vrel in different colored uniforms moved around the room. These weren't soldiers. They wore no armor. Hannah knew they must be scientists. "Line up," ordered a guard. The humans stood against a wall. Hannah counted 15 people. Most were crew from the Mercy *. She recognized the cook, 2 engineers, and a navigator. None were from her medical team. She hoped June had made it to safety. A tall Vrel approached. Its skin was lighter than the others, almost white. 4 yellow eyes moved independently, looking at each human. "I am Chief Scientist Zev," it said. "You are now property of the Vrel Dominion. You will serve our research." Hannah watched carefully as the scientist inspected each person. Some were taken away immediately. Others were scanned with a strange device that hummed loudly. When Zev reached Hannah, all 4 eyes focused on her. "Your uniform is different," the Vrel said. "I'm a doctor," Hannah answered. "A medical officer." The Vrel made that grinding sound again. Laughter. "A healer. How interesting." It held up the scanning device. "Your body shows signs of combat training." Hannah said nothing. Her 2 years in special operations before medical school wasn't something she wanted the aliens to know about. "Take this one to Holding Cell B," Zev said to a guard. "I want to speak with Commander Drac about her." 2 guards led Hannah away from the others. They took her to a small room with only a bench. The door closed with a hiss, and she was alone. Hannah checked herself for injuries. A few bruises, nothing serious. She inspected the room next. No windows. 1 door made of some kind of metal she didn't recognize. A small vent near the ceiling was too small to climb through. Hours passed. Hannah sat on the bench, thinking about her situation. The Vrel were known for their biological weapons. They had used them on 3 human colonies already. Thousands had died. If they were doing research here, it couldn't be good. Finally, the door opened. Chief Scientist Zev entered with another Vrel. This one wore ornate armor with strange symbols. "This is the one, Commander," Zev said. The commander looked at Hannah with all 4 eyes. "She is small, even for a human." "Yes, but her scans show unusual resilience, and she has medical knowledge." "What use is that for our test?" the commander asked. "It adds a variable we haven't tried before," Zev replied. "The wolf has killed guards and soldiers. Let's see what it does with a healer." Hannah's heart beat faster. The wolf? What were they talking about? The commander seemed to think for a moment. "Very well. Prepare her for the test tomorrow. If nothing else, it will be amusing to watch." After they left, Hannah paced the small room. Whatever the wolf was, she would face it tomorrow. She needed to be ready. Later, a guard brought her water and a bowl of something that looked like gray soup. Hannah ate it slowly. She would need her strength. That night, she lay on the hard bench and tried to sleep. Through the walls, she heard a sound that made her blood freeze, a howl of pain that was almost human, but not quite. Whatever waited for her tomorrow was suffering. And somehow, Hannah knew that her skills as a doctor would be more important than her training as a soldier. She closed her eyes and waited for morning. Morning came too soon. 4 Vrel guards entered Hannah's cell. They carried shock sticks and moved cautiously, as if they expected her to fight. "Come with us," one said. "It is time for your test." Hannah stood up slowly. She had slept little, her mind filled with questions about the wolf. The guards surrounded her and led her through a maze of hallways. They went deeper into the ship than before. The air grew colder. They stopped at a large door made of thick metal. A viewing window showed a dark room beyond. Scientist Zev waited for them, along with Commander Drac and several other Vrel. "The human is ready," a guard announced. Zev approached Hannah. You will be placed in Containment Cell Alpha. Inside is a test subject we call the wolf. We wish to observe your interaction." "What is this wolf?" Hannah asked. The scientist's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "You will see soon enough. If you survive, we may find better use for you than the others." Drac stepped forward. "The wolf has killed 7 guards and 3 scientists. It is our most successful experiment, but also our most dangerous." Hannah felt cold fear in her stomach, but she kept her face calm. "What do you want me to do in there?" "Nothing," Zev said. "Just survive. That would be interesting data." The door slid open with a heavy sound. A guard pushed Hannah forward. She stumbled into the room, and the door closed behind her with a final thud. The cell was large, about the size of the Mercy's mess hall. Dim red lights glowed along the edges of the floor. The walls were scratched with deep marks. In some places, Hannah saw dark stains that looked like dried blood. "Hello," she called, her voice echoing softly. No answer. Hannah stepped further into the room. Her eyes adjusted to the dim light. She saw what looked like a nest of torn blankets in one corner. Food containers lay scattered on the floor. A small pool of water gleamed in another corner. Then she heard it. Breathing. Heavy, ragged breathing from the darkest part of the room. Hannah turned slowly toward the sound. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said. A low growl answered her. Something moved in the shadows. Something big. Hannah held her ground. Running would be a mistake. Whatever this wolf was, it would chase her if she ran. The shape moved forward into a patch of red light. Hannah gasped. It was a man. Or it had been once. He was tall and muscular, his body covered in scars. His skin had a strange gray tint. His hair was long and matted. But his eyes were the most shocking part. They glowed yellow, like the Vrel's eyes. He moved in a crouch, not fully standing. His fingers ended in claw-like nails. When he snarled at her, she saw sharpened teeth. "I'm Hannah," she said softly. "I'm a doctor." The wolf circled her, never taking his glowing eyes off her. He sniffed the air like an animal. But Hannah saw something in those eyes. Intelligence, pain, and something else that gave her hope. Humanity. From speakers hidden in the ceiling, Hannah heard Zev's voice. "Subject wolf has not immediately attacked. Interesting. Perhaps it senses something different about this human." The wolf's head snapped up at the voice. He let out a roar of hate toward the ceiling. Hannah took the chance to study him more carefully. His body showed signs of Vrel experimentation. Surgical scars covered his chest and back. His muscles were too large, unnatural. But his features, they were Korean, like hers. When he looked back at her, Hannah did something risky. She spoke in Korean. "Annyeonghaseyo," she said. "Kello." The wolf froze. His yellow eyes widened. For just a moment, his snarl faded. Then he backed away into the shadows again, watching her with wary confusion. Through the speakers, Hannah heard excited Vrel voices. It recognized the language pattern. Zev said, "This is unexpected." Hannah kept her eyes on the darkness where the wolf had disappeared. She had seen enough to understand now. The Vrel hadn't created a monster. They had captured and tortured a human man. Hours passed in the dim cell. Hannah sat on the floor, her back against the wall. The wolf stayed in the shadows, watching her. He hadn't attacked, but he hadn't come closer either. Hannah knew the Vrel were watching. Tiny cameras gleamed in the corners of the ceiling. She had to be careful. Show too much interest in the wolf, and they might take her away. Show too little, and they might do something to force a reaction. "I wonder what your name is," she said in Korean, keeping her voice soft. The wolf shifted in the darkness. His yellow eyes never left her. "My name is Hannah Kim. I was a doctor on the ship Mercy *. She paused. "You're human, like me. I can see that." A low growl came from the shadows. "The Vrel did this to you," she continued. "They're doing experiments, trying to make weapons. The wolf moved slightly forward, still hunched over. In the red light, Hannah could see more details. The man was muscular but thin, as if he hadn't had enough food. Fresh wounds crossed his arms and chest. "You're hurt," she said. "I could help if you let me." The speakers in the ceiling crackled. "What are you saying to it?" Zeb's voice demanded. Hannah looked up. "I'm trying to communicate. That's what doctors do." "Speak in standard language," Zeb ordered. Hannah switched to English. "I was telling him I won't hurt him." The wolf snarled at the ceiling, then at Hannah. He seemed angry that she had switched languages. "Subject seems agitated by the language change," Zeb noted. "Guards, enter and prod the wolf. Let's see how it reacts to the female under threat." A small door on the far side of the room opened. 2 Vrel guards entered, holding long shock sticks. The wolf let out a roar and backed further away. The guards advanced, spreading out to trap him against the wall. "Stop," Hannah called. "You'll only make him angry." The guards ignored her. One jabbed his stick toward the wolf, who dodged with surprising speed. "We need to see if it will protect the female," Zeb's voice explained. "Change targets." Suddenly, the guards turned toward Hannah. One raised his stick and moved toward her. The wolf's reaction was instant. He leaped forward with a speed Hannah could barely follow. He slammed into the guard, sending him flying across the room. The second guard tried to use his shock stick, but the wolf dodged and struck with his clawed hand. The guard screamed and fell. Both Vrel scrambled back through the door, which closed quickly behind them. The wolf stood in the center of the room, breathing hard. Blood dripped from his claws. He turned slowly to face Hannah. For a long moment, they stared at each other. Then, to Hannah's surprise, the wolf backed away. He returned to his corner, watching her warily. "Fascinating," Zeb's voice came through the speakers. "It defends the female, but does not approach her. Perhaps they recognize each other as the same species," another Vrel voice suggested. "Or perhaps—" Zeb's voice trailed off. "Bring up the wolf's capture records." There was silence for a few minutes. Hannah used the time to study the wolf more carefully. Despite his animal-like behavior, his movements were controlled. He wasn't attacking randomly. He was thinking. "Dr. Kim," Zeb's voice returned, sounding excited. "Your file says you served in the 103rd Medical Division before your assignment to the Mercy *. Is this correct?" "Yes," Hannah answered cautiously. "And the wolf was captured from the 103rd Combat Division," Zeb said. "They operated in the same sector. They may have encountered each other before." Hannah's heart raced. The 103rd Combat Division had protected her medical unit during the Battle of New Seoul. She looked at the wolf with new eyes. "Do you know who he is?" she asked. "His human designation is Lieutenant Taiho Park," Zeb answered. "But that man no longer exists. Only the wolf remains." Taiho. The name hit Hannah like a physical blow. She remembered him now. A quiet officer who had visited the medical tent often, bringing wounded soldiers. "Taiho," she said softly in Korean. "I remember you." The wolf's yellow eyes widened. For just a moment, they seemed to clear. His lips moved, forming a word with no sound. Hannah *. The Vrel were very excited by what had happened. Hannah could hear them talking through the speakers. They kept using words like connection and recognition pattern. They had turned down the lights even more, probably to watch how Taiho would act in darkness. Hannah sat quietly, thinking about what to do next. Taiho stayed in his corner, but his eyes never left her. The yellow glow made them easy to see in the dark. I'm going to move now, Hannah said in Korean. Just a little closer. She slid forward a few inches. Taiho tensed, but didn't growl. Do you remember the Battle of Nustol? She asked. You brought soldiers to my medical tent. You always thanked us, even when you were in a hurry. Taiho tilted his head slightly, like he was trying to understand. You had a scar on your left arm, Hannah continued. From a training accident, you said. She paused. I can see it's still there, under all the new ones. Taiho looked down at his arm, then back at her. He made a soft sound, not quite a growl. The Vrel have hurt you, Hannah said. But you're still human, Taiho. You're still you inside. She moved forward again, just a little. This time he didn't tense up. A door opened on the side of the room. A Vrel guard pushed in a tray with 2 bowls on it, then quickly left. Food has been provided, Zev announced through the speakers. We will observe sharing behavior. Hannah looked at the tray. 1 bowl held the same gray soup she had been given before. The other contained chunks of raw meat. She understood the test. Would Taiho fight her for food? Would he share? But Hannah saw something else, a chance to get closer to him. She stood up slowly and walked to the tray. Taiho watched her every move. Hannah picked up both bowls and walked halfway back to her spot. Then she set them down and backed away. You can eat first, she said. Taiho stayed still for a long moment. Then he moved forward, still in that animal-like crouch. He reached the bowls and sniffed them. To Hannah's surprise, he pushed the soup bowl toward her with 1 clawed hand. Sharing behavior confirmed. A Vrel voice noted. Subject retains social patterns. Hannah moved forward and sat down, leaving a small space between them. She picked up the soup bowl. Thank you, Lieutenant Park. Something flickered in Taiho's eyes at the sound of his rank. He watched her eat for a moment, then began to tear at the meat with his sharpened teeth. As they ate, Hannah studied him more carefully. His breathing seemed labored. The muscles in his arms twitched randomly. Whatever the Vrel had done to him was causing pain. You're hurting, she said. Let me help you. I'm a doctor, remember? Taiho finished eating and looked at her. He seemed to be thinking. Slowly, very slowly, he extended 1 arm toward her. A deep cut ran from his elbow to his wrist, red and inflamed. Hannah's medical training took over. That's infected. It needs cleaning. She looked up at the ceiling. I need medical supplies if you want your test subject to live. There was a pause. Then Zev replied, The wolf has never allowed treatment before. This is valuable data. Supplies will be provided. Soon, a small medical kit came through a slot in the wall. Hannah opened it and found basic supplies, bandages, antiseptic, and simple tools. This might sting, she warned Taiho as she began to clean the wound. He flinched at the first touch but didn't pull away. His yellow eyes watched her hands work with careful attention. As Hannah treated the infection, she spoke softly in Korean, telling him about the *Mercy*, about her work as a doctor. Sometimes she thought she saw recognition in his eyes. When she finished bandaging his arm, Taiho did something that made Hannah's heart leap. He nodded once, a human gesture of thanks. The subject is bonding with the female, Vrel noted. Commence the next phase of testing tomorrow. What next phase? Hannah asked, but the speakers went silent. Taiho growled at the ceiling, then looked at Hannah. He moved back to his corner, but this time, he stayed where she could see him, no longer hiding in the shadows. It was a small victory, but Hannah knew it was just the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new tests. But now she had something the Vrel didn't expect. She had Taiho starting to remember who he was. Hannah woke to a low growling sound. Taiho stood in the center of the cell, facing the door. His body was tense, ready to fight. The door slid open. 4 Vrel guards entered, carrying something large. They dropped it on the floor and quickly left. The door closed with a heavy thud. It was a punching bag, like the ones in military training rooms, but this one was covered in Vrel skin. "Begin physical response test," Zev announced. "We will observe if the wolf's aggression has decreased due to the female's presence." Taiho approached the bag cautiously. He sniffed it, then let out a roar of rage. His claws tore into the bag, ripping it apart with incredible strength. Stuffing flew across the room. Hannah watched silently. The Vrel were testing if Taiho was becoming less aggressive. If he seemed calmer, they might separate them. She needed more time with him. When Taiho finished destroying the bag, he stood breathing heavily. The yellow glow in his eyes was brighter, his muscles twitching more than before. "Aggression levels remain high," Vrel noted. "Subject retains combat effectiveness." Hannah saw that Taiho was in pain. Whatever they had done to change him was hurting him more when he got angry. "Taiho," she called softly in Korean. "Come here. Let me check your wounds." He turned to her, still breathing hard. For a moment, she thought he might attack. Then slowly, his breathing steadied. He moved toward her and sat down, still keeping a small distance between them. "The female still controls the wolf," Zev said. "This is unexpected. Perhaps we should increase the aggression stimulants," another voice suggested. Hannah knew she had to act quickly. "Listen to me," she whispered in Korean. "They're watching us. They want you to stay wild. We need to talk, but they can't know." Taiho's eyes fixed on her face. Was he understanding? "You're back," she said louder. "Turn around. I need to check the wounds on your back." Taiho turned, showing his back to her. Hannah gasped. Metal discs had been implanted along his spine, glowing faintly blue. The skin around them was red and swollen. "They're using these to control you," she whispered, pretending to examine his back. "That's why you're in pain." Taiho made a small movement with his head. A nod. Hannah's heart raced. He understood. "Can you speak?" she asked quietly. Taiho's shoulders tensed. He made a rough sound, like his voice hadn't been used in a long time. "Hard," he managed to say. One word, barely audible. "The implants are restricting your control," Hannah guessed. "But your mind is still yours." Another small nod. "How many others?" she asked. "Like you." Taiho held up 3 clawed fingers. "What is happening?" Zev demanded through the speakers. "What are you doing to the wolf?" "Checking his wounds," Hannah called back. "Some are infected. The implants are causing inflammation." There was a pause. "You recognize the implant's purpose?" "I'm a doctor," Hannah replied. "They're clearly medical devices gone wrong. They're causing him pain." "The pain is necessary," Zev explained. "It focuses the aggression. But perhaps you can reduce the inflammation. It would be useful data." "I'll need better medical supplies," Hannah said. While they waited, Hannah kept examining Taiho's back, using the time to whisper, "We need to escape. I can help you, but you have to fight the implants." "Trying," Taiho whispered. His voice was rough but stronger now. "Long time. Fighting." A panel in the wall opened. A more complete medical kit slid through. As Hannah treated the inflammation around the implants, she kept talking softly. "The Vrel are using humans for experiments. You were the first success." "Not success," Taiho growled. "Failed to control fully." Hannah understood now. Taiho had been resisting the Vrel control all this time, through sheer willpower. That's why they called him the Wolf, uncontrollable yet too valuable to destroy. "The Vrel appear pleased with your treatment," Zev announced. "Tomorrow, we will begin the next phase. Rest now." When the lights dimmed for the night cycle, Taiho moved closer to Hannah. For the first time, he didn't return to his corner. "Remember, more each hour," he whispered. "Your voice helps." Hannah smiled in the darkness. "Then I'll keep talking, Lieutenant, and soon we'll find a way out of here." The yellow glow of his eyes seemed softer now, more human. 3 days passed. Each day, Hannah treated Taiho's wounds. Each day, the Vrel ran tests, and each day, Taiho spoke more, remembered more. They talked in whispers when the lights were dim. Taiho told Hana about his capture 6 months ago, how the Vrel had changed him bit by bit, how he had fought their control by focusing on memories of home. Ship layout, Taiho said on the 4th night. His speech was still rough but improving. Learned it. Watching guards. Hana listened carefully as he described the Vrel research vessel. It was massive, with 20 levels. They were on level 5, the main research area. Escape pods? Hana asked. Level 2, heavily guarded. And the other test subjects like you? Level 6, lower security. Not successful like me. His yellow eyes gleamed in the darkness. Need to help them too. Hana nodded. We will. The next morning, Zev's voice came through the speakers. Today begins new testing phase. We have seen the wolf respond to the female. Now we will test combat coordination. The door opened. Guards pushed in a large metal box with holes in the sides. They left quickly. What is it? Hana asked, standing beside Taiho. Combat test, Taiho growled. He moved in front of Hana protectively. The box opened. A creature crawled out. A 6-legged beast with razor-sharp teeth and green armored skin. It was the size of a large dog. This is a crawl hunter, Zev explained. A natural predator from the Vril homeworld. Let us see how you work together. The crawl growled and charged toward them. Taiho met it head-on, his claws slashing at the creature's tough hide. But the crawl was fast. It dodged and bit into Taiho's leg. Hana looked around for a weapon. She saw a piece of metal from the destroyed punching bag. She grabbed it and struck the crawl hard on its head. The creature released Taiho and turned toward her. Taiho used the distraction to grab the crawl from behind. With a powerful twist, he broke the creature's neck. Impressive coordination, Zev noted. The wolf protects and the female assists. Together, they are more effective than the wolf alone. Hana helped Taiho back to their corner. His leg was bleeding, but not badly. As she treated the wound, she whispered, "The Vrel are helping us." Taiho looked confused. "They're teaching us to fight together," she explained. "And they're getting careless." The guards didn't check the room after the test. She showed him what she had hidden in her hand, a sharp tooth from the crawl. "Weapon," Taiho said with a slight smile. "And a tool," Hana added. "I can use it to examine your implants when they think we're sleeping." That night, when the lights dimmed, Hana carefully studied the metal discs on Taiho's spine. The blue glow came from tiny power cells. "I think I can disable them," she whispered. "But it will hurt, and you might lose the physical enhancements." "Do it," Taiho said without hesitation. "Rather be human." "Not yet," Hana said. "We need your strength to escape. But I can reduce the pain." She carefully adjusted something on one of the implants. Taiho's body relaxed immediately. "Better," he sighed. "Clearer thoughts now." "We need to move soon," Hana said. "The Vrel are learning too much from us. They might separate us." Taiho nodded. "Tomorrow, during feeding time. Guard is alone then." "What about cameras?" Hana asked. "Power fluctuation. Happens every day. Same time. 20 seconds of darkness." Hana smiled. "You've been planning this for a long time." "Waiting," Taiho corrected. "For a right partner." He reached out and took her hand. His claws were gentle against her skin. For a moment, despite his changed appearance, Hana saw the man he had been. The man he still was inside. "Tomorrow then," she said, "we free the others and find a way home." In the darkness, Taiho's eyes glowed with determination. No longer the eyes of a wolf, but of a soldier ready for battle. The next day seemed to last forever. Hana and Taiho went through their normal routine, careful not to act differently. They ate their morning meal. They let the Vrel run simple tests. "The female has had a remarkable effect on the wolf," Zev told Commander Drak, as they watched from the observation room. Perhaps we should capture more human females for the other test subjects. We will discuss it after today's data collection, Track replied. Feeding time came at last. Hannah felt her heart beating fast as a single guard entered with their food tray. Tai-Ho tensed beside her, ready to move. The lights flickered once, twice, then darkness. Tai-Ho moved like lightning. Even in the dark, he knew exactly where the guard stood. There was a short cry, then silence. When the lights came back on 20 seconds later, the guard lay unconscious on the floor. Tai-Ho already wore the guard's armor and held the shock stick. "Hurry," he said to Hannah. They slipped out of the cell. The hallway was empty. Tai-Ho led the way, moving quickly but carefully. His yellow eyes scanned for danger. "Level 6 first," he whispered. "Other test subjects." They took a service ladder down one level. Twice they had to hide as Vrel scientists walked past. Finally, they reached a row of cells. Tai-Ho used the guard's access card to open the first door. Inside was a human man, curled up in the corner. His skin had the same gray tint as Tai-Ho's, but he seemed weaker, confused. "Han-Gil," Tai-Ho said. "It's me." "Tai-Ho." The man looked up slowly. "Tai-Ho. Not possible. You escaped?" "Escaping now," Tai-Ho corrected. "With all of you." Hannah checked Han-Gil quickly. "His implants are different from yours." "Cruder." "Failed experiments," Tai-Ho explained. "Vrel couldn't control us fully. They freed 2 more men, Jin and Daewon. Both recognized Tai-Ho and seemed to gain strength from seeing him." Hannah noticed they all had the same yellow eyes, though none had developed claws like Tai-Ho's. "We need to reach level 2, Tai-Ho told the group. "Escape pods." "Wait," Hannah said. "The Vrel have data on what they did to you. If we take it, human doctors might be able to reverse it." Tai-Ho nodded. "Command Center, level 3. They moved as a group now, Tai-Ho leading, the others following close behind. They reached level 3 without being spotted, but as they approached the command center, an alarm began to sound. "They've discovered we're gone," Hannah said. "No time for stealth now," Tai-Ho growled. "Direct approach." He burst through the door of the command center. 3 Vrel scientists looked up in surprise. Tai-Ho moved so fast, they had no time to react. Within seconds, all 3 were unconscious. Hannah ran to the main computer. "Cover me. This will take a minute." She worked quickly, downloading all the data on the human experiments. The other men guarded the door, their enhanced strength making them formidable despite their weakened state. "Got it," Hannah said, holding up a small data drive. "Wait," Jin said. "We should send a signal to the human fleet. Let them know where we are." Hannah nodded and turned back to the computer. "I can broadcast our location and the research data. If any human ships are in range, they'll come." She typed rapidly. "Message sent. Now let's get to those escape pods." They fought their way to level 2. Tai-Ho was unstoppable, his claws and enhanced strength tearing through any Vrel who tried to stop them. The others followed his lead, growing stronger and more coordinated with each fight. They reached the escape pod bay. Guards tried to stop them, but it was too late. Hannah and the 4 men forced their way into the largest pod. "Do you know how to fly this?" Hannah asked as they sealed the door. Tai-Ho gave her a small smile. "Combat pilot before Special Forces." He activated the launch sequence. The pod shot away from the Vrel ship just as more guards reached the bay. As they sped into open space, Hannah checked the communication system. "We're receiving a response to our signal." A familiar voice came through the speakers. "This is Admiral Jae-Ho Kim of the Terran Defense Force. Identify yourselves." Hannah's eyes widened. "Jae-Ho, it's me. It's Hannah." There was a moment of stunned silence. Then, "Hannah, we thought you were dead. We're locking onto your position now. Hold tight, little sister. We're coming to get you." Tai-Ho looked at Hannah in surprise. "Your brother is the Admiral." Hannah nodded, tears in her eyes. "The Vrel didn't just throw any medic into your cell. They chose the wrong person to test." Through the viewport, they saw human warships appearing in the distance. Freedom was minutes away. Hannah took Tai-Ho's clawed hand in hers. "We're going home, and I promise, we'll find a way to make you fully human again." Tai-Ho squeezed her hand gently. "Already feel human again. Because of you."